What's happening, gang? Alright. No, it's not about those two. Had a buddy of mine stop by. Actually, the son of Harry Krebs, who owns the golf cart, and I finally got all the parts in for it. Stopped by and he said, "Do you have any use for a stump grinder?" I said, "I'm having a hard time getting rid of it." I said, "A hard time getting rid of a stump grinder? I find that hard to believe." He said, "Well, honestly, I really haven't tried that hard." I said, "Okay. Well, let me see what you got." And he showed it to me. And he shot me a price. And I couldn't get my hand in my pocket quick enough. So, Zippo's got him a stump grinder. Crazy looking thing, isn't it? Came with two cutting heads. There's one down there. Got the air cleaner and the cover. But this is one of the flywheels, cutting heads. Right there. And the other one I just mounted. And look at this belt. Look how wide that belt is. It's a 3-groove belt. 1, 2, 3. Freaking massive. It has forward and reverse. The lever that's got the bungee cord on it is the engage, disengage for the drive, for moving forward and back. So that's reverse. That's forward. Right, the middle's neutral. Appears to be all there with the exception of one little item, and that one little item looks like they've had problems with it. Is this works on a cantilever. It's got these two big springs right here, so when you step on it like this, in stepping on it, it tightens the drive belt. You can see the belt going up and down there. So it would have had a little lock, a handle that you would have moved over to lock it into the engaged position. You guys remember that little purple cruiser bike that I had sitting here? Somebody nicked it last night, but they were nice enough to put everything back. So my guess is it's somebody that I said, if you want it, come and grab it. Because I've said that to a few people, so that's probably what happened. Know the machine. So this little snippet is being added into the video on this. It is not missing anything. I just didn't know how to operate it. Okay. In order to engage the cutter head and lock it into place, this piece slides. Okay, so you push it down and lock it under like that. That's how you tension the belt. There's nothing missing, just a couple of my brain cells not being able to figure that one out without looking it up. But back to the video. Has a Kohler Magnum 16 horse single cylinder, pull start, rope start, I guess I should say. The basic operation of it is, you can see here, you've got the rear wheel, and you can adjust and readjust the rear wheel by moving things up and down in order to get deep into the stump that you're grinding. So just a second here, tilt you down a little bit, and I'll show you how that works. Well, it has a transport, which is this little lever right here. That's for transporting it, moving it around. That is for when you want the head to dig in. So you guys will watch right here and you'll see what exactly it does. Try to get it back where you can see the whole business. And then we'll run it around to the front so you can see it, what it does up front too. But as you push down on the handles, it pushes the cutting head down into your stump. Come back around here, I'll show it to you from this angle. So as you can see, it can take a stump that's cut off, you know, what, 8 or so inches above the ground, and grind it down to your below the ground. It appears to, like I say, be all there. The shift arm just threads in there, and that's just to get it to go from forward to reverse. And I know nothing about it at this point other than it is called the one-man stump router, I'm assuming, from Hodges manufacturing. And the cutting teeth on it are not cheap, so I'll have to put a little bit of money in it, but that's okay because I don't have a lot in it. Tires are even holding air, which is kind of cool. I've got another decal here that's been taped over, but they didn't pull the tape off when they painted it, so I'm going to have to check that out. I don't remember if Scott said if he'd had it running or not, but we're going to see if we can get spark in it and see if we can get it to burp to life. All I want to know is if we got a good 16 horse Magnum here. So we get things set up. I already checked the oil, it's got oil in it. I poured it, the gas tank was empty, poured fresh gas in it. We do have a fuel pump mounted. It's a mechanical fuel pump mounted underneath the carburetor assembly. So let's pop the spark plug out. We'll pull it over by hand, see if we have some spark. It's been sitting for a while, and with the muffler being up like this, I'm hopeful I didn't get a bunch of water in the engine itself, but we'll find out. It does have a decent amount of compression that springs back when I pull on it, so that is at least good. But let's pop the spark plug out. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's one of those instant yawns that you just can't control. Let's see if we have spark. So hang on. Alright, let's check for spark. I'm going to look for something glowing right there. I'm taking the lazy man's way out and just grab my drill. Ready? See if we got spark. I see spark. Let me look at the plug. Yep, we've got spark, and I know we've got compression. We've got oil. Let's put a little dribble of gas down in the hole and see if we can start this thing. What do you think? Think we can? I hope so. A little bit of gas down in there. shot in here too. Get in here kind of deep. Most of it came right back out. We'll choke it and we'll put it at low idle. Not off, but low idle. And we'll use the drill again, see if it'll kick over, so I'm not pulling 100 times. I've said it before, I like these cast iron coolers. Those threads almost act like they're stripped. Let me get a look at those. Hang on, let me look at the threads. I checked the threads, they look alright. Let's see if it'll bark. And let's hope I don't twist my arm out of socket in the process. Ready? Well, I call that a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Right on. I'm happy with that. I don't know if it's pulling fuel or not. Guess we'll just keep cranking her over. Get you guys at a safe distance. I'm gonna keep cranking it over and hopefully it'll prime itself if the fuel pump's good. Like I say, it's got fresh gas in it, so we'll see what happens. I may have to stick my host fuel tank on it, but we know it runs. Yay! I know this is a short one, but it's getting late in the day. Time for me to go in, and we'll pick back up on this very shortly for you guys. I've got to get to work on doing the planning stages of getting this quickway loader swapped over. And for Sean, I've got your new throttle arm and throttle cable, but how about that? Got a logs or a stump grinder. Sweet. Got a few stumps I need to grind. Alright. See you guys when I see you. Alright, we're back on the stump grinder. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I've got more pressing things to do. But I've got the carburetor off and it is sitting over here, and the float's pretty well seized, so we're going to try to free that up. Just use some PB blaster and a little bit of a gentle tapping on the pin. Hopefully we can get it out. And we've got the ultrasonic cleaner heating up, but while all this is getting ready for its bath, we'll dive into something else and we'll come back to it. But I'm hoping I can get this carburetor squared away and ready to go. And oddly, this is the choke wire. It's made out of copper. It just collapses on itself, so you can't activate the choke with it. So I'll have to change that. And also, I think I mentioned yesterday, when you pivot the engine back to tension the drive belt, it's supposed to have a lock, and there is no lock. In order to engage the cutter head and lock it into place, this piece slides. Okay, so you push it down and lock it under like that. Lock mechanism currently on it. So I have to do some investigating, see how they originally were, and see what I can come up with to make that lock back so it'll stay put. And I believe I also showed that this little foot lever here just allows you to pivot the machine, pivot the head. So and I'll tell you what, the teeth for those don't come cheap. I found a couple. Found one guy had a box for sale. There's probably, I don't know, three or four dozen maybe. And he was wanting $1,950 for the teeth for that. No, not doing that. But we'll figure something out. And you know, I can make my own and actually make them with cutters that are reversible. So if I hang on to this thing and decide I'm going to use it, I may go that route. Otherwise, we'll just get her up and going, tackle a stump or two with it, see how she does, and possibly move it along down the line, because it is a manual machine. It is a machine that requires a lot of physical exertion, and we all know Zippo's busted, so not something that I would want to do for a living. But people that do have stump grinders, at least in this area, oh, they're getting a premium for taking stumps out. I mean, they're knocking it down. So that's part of the reason why the market is so high on these, is because people can make a boatload of money. I mean, they can knock down, you know, 30 or so stumps in a day if they're good at it, and at a bare minimum of $25 a stump, the going rate's around $45 a stump. That's a chunk of change every day. So anyway, we'll soak that a little bit, see if we can't get that pin and float needle to come out, see if we can't get the jet out of it. Then we'll also, the fuel bowl, it was really nasty. The bolt is actually fused to the bowl, so we may just leave that as it is and then just screw everything back together and hope that this gasket is salvageable, at least salvageable enough so we can see if this thing's going to just sit there and putt and run on under its own power and do what it's supposed to do. So hang on. Yeah, didn't take too much really to get the floating needle out of there. Pin drove out and I didn't disturb either one of the bosses. But if we take a look right here, we've got a crack here, and then we have a crack that runs that way. We're going to see if the fuel bowl will still attach and hang on. Like I said, I just want to see if this thing's going to run and do what it's supposed to do before I go throwing a bunch of money into it. But we'll get that sucker over into the parts cleaner. I've got a little evapor rust. I'm going to drop this in the evapor rust and try to get rid of this rust, which will take a few hours. But we'll come back to the stump grinder when I either take carburetor off of another Kohler to try out on it, or we get this one ready and rebuilt. So hang on for it. You can hear the ultrasonic cleaner going in the background. There was already oil in this, that's what the dark is there, but there's a good bit of water. And also, this right here is water that just drained out of it, gravity fed out of it. So lots of water, lots and lots of water. Carb was full of water. So I don't have high hopes for that carburetor, but we're sure going to give it a try. But we're going to be done with this for right now, like I said, and we'll see you when we get that carburetor back together and back on, see if we can't get it to run on the original carb. Alright, we got that Kohler carburetor out of the bath. Let's just go ahead and ease her in here. I'll go ahead and use our rubber feet. I didn't use them the last time. Probably should have. cinched in there. And even though it went through the parts cleaner, I'm still going to go ahead and do a little bit of blowing some carb cleaner through it and whatnot, and also flake off the rest on the inside of where the float rides, because I want to make sure that float's going to move the way it needs to float, or needs to move. And we're going to blow in here and blow out there, just to get all those little rust fragments out. That was noisy. Hope I didn't hurt your ears. Alright. Just going to go ahead and blow through that real quick. And we have a idle jet. Blow through that. Let's see here. It's on the other side. Right? Yep, right there. Give that a little blow through. Alright. Seems like everything is clear, as though I should not need to use the carb cleaner. Let's clean the seat for the needle. Clean this up a little bit. Take a look on the bottom of it. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look bad at all. We'll still run just a little bit of rubbing compound through it on a Q-tip with a drill. Alright, here's the drill. Here's the Q-tip. Need to get this Q-tip cut in half. Waste not, want not. Use a half at a time. I need to get my compound. You guys are in the way of me getting my compound. That's alright. I'll work around you. You guys just stay put. You don't need to step out of the way. Okay, lapping compound. Just a little bit. Tiny little bit. That's the first time I've used the shelf on that toolbox. Keep forgetting it's there. Okay, I'm just going to hold it and show you. Okay, just going to go down, polish that seat a little bit. I'll shoot it with a little bit of carb cleaner. And we got her fairly well clean. Now we can pop that back in there. That's a little 3/8 jobby. So let me grab my 3/8 deep well socket. Maybe. It's right here beside me. Get that started. I think we got it started. Let's see. Yep, we got her started. And there is a crush washer between that and the carb body, just so you know. Little aluminum crush washer. There it's seated. We'll give it just a little bit more. Alright, now let's see if that floating needle is going to stay in place. First got to look at the needle. Needle's got a little bit of rust on it. Let's see if we can't clean that off a little bit. Yeah, it's coming off. Got to make sure that needle moves up and down the way it's supposed to. Right. Alright, looks good. Drop it down in there. Oh, it dropped down nice and easy. That's good. We've got our pin. Get that started. Got our float. Let's see if this is gonna behave for us or not. Oh, didn't get all the rust off of it. I'm gonna do some picking and a grinning. You guys remember I did not take the jet out of this. And we'll pick back up here in just a minute. Hang on. Well, I had my grocery lady stop by and I just kept working while she was getting my list. But anyway, we've got this ready to go back on the stump grinder. So let's go throw it on there and see if we can't get this thing to run with this old beat up carburetor. Now, I'm giving this one a chance, but I do have a new replacement that I can use if I have to. We're going to give that one a shot first. I'm going to throw it on, come back after I've got it on there, see if we can get this thing to run. Alright, it's that time. Let me add some gas to it. And just so you can see, there's the new carburetor. I did not put the new carburetor on. Got everything situated, I think. Even made a knob for the choke since it didn't have one. Doesn't need a whole lot of fuel. That should be plenty. Got my little cheater bottle here too. We'll give it a squirt, give it a jump start. And I think I'm just going to adjust this wheel up so that everything nice and level. See who's bugging me. I'll give that a minute. Alright. A little squirt to get her started. Choke. You ready? Probably take a few tries to get it primed. Prime it each time. That or it just won't work. Just lather, rinse, repeat this until either I get tired or it decides to run on its own with that carburetor. And I put this 1.5 out and the idle 1.5 out. go. You know what would help? If I actually turn the fuel on. Duh! Silly goose. Forgot to turn the fuel on. Okay. Well, now that the fuel is on, let's see what we can have. See what we can get accomplished here. That's one little feeding with the fuel on. Two with the fuel on. I'm not positive that the fuel pump's even working, so. That ran for a good long while. The socket stayed on. Alright, now let's try choke. See if it's pulling its own fuel. There we go. Running on its own. Now I guess we can test all the other stuff out. What the smoke that's coming out, I did put some fogging oil in there, so that's probably just the fogging oil burning up. So let's just change your guys' angle, and we'll see if that belt's going to behave, because I'm sure it has stayed in the position it's in for a long time. Let's start it back up, see what happens. We'll start it with the rope this time. See if it'll start first pull. Ready? Start first pull. I'm just going to ease down on the pedal, see if we can get that to start spinning and see how the belt behaves. about that? Means I can save my new carburetor for something else. It's working, it's not leaking, the fuel pump's working, everything's working. Sweet. Both these heads need to have the cutters knocked out, the holes cleaned out, and at least try to sharpen a lot of the cutters. I don't know if I have a full set between the two cutting heads. This one doesn't have very many in it. You can see how rounded over that one is. And look here, this one's still got a pretty sharp edge. So does this one. So does this one. So does this one. That one seems to have lost its carbide, but I may be able to put enough of a set together to get out and try it out and see how it's going to do as far as being a viable stump grinder. Pretty cool. I do still need to figure out the lock mechanism here. Get that down, and it is supposed to, you're supposed to be able to lock it so that the cutter head will stay engaged. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Price was right. Didn't take a whole lot of work. Just cleaned the carburetor up. Yeehaw. It's always nice when you know people and they stop by and say, hey, I got this, you want it? Well, yeah. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the stump grinder for now. I don't remember if I told you guys what it was. I think I did. It's called a one-man stump router from Hodges Manufacturing, Mountain Home, Arkansas. It's even got the phone number down there. And I haven't pulled all the tape off of this one yet to see. It's probably just the same decal that's on there, right there. You might be able to see what's further to the right of the decal. But what an interesting machine. Definitely an interesting machine. Alright. It's a monster. It's as big as one of my tractors. That's going to round it out. Friendly Neighborhood Zippo, thank you guys so much for hanging out. A little bit of a fight, but pretty psyched that the carburetor's behaving, doing what it's supposed to do, not doing what it's not supposed to do. And we'll just carry on to the next project. Catch y'all later. I'm out.